Mikey!
Hey, Bob.
We're getting into it. It's our first official podcast in the home studio.
Yeah, I like the setup. It works.
This is our away studio, literally in my home. So we're
your home office.
We're home, but we're away.
Yeah,
is the way that we're going to look at this. We're at home, but we're away. We're not commanding the commute this week, folks. We're trying this home studio out. This is going to be our away studio for where we record our podcast for our away games. Still trying to give you our weekly podcast. But obviously this is the podcast where we press record when we leave the driveway and we upload when we get to the stadium. But when there's no game, there's no stadium to drive to, and there's no uploading to be had at the stadium.
Yeah, we're just giving the opinion from our couch.
So there is no game this week. It's not in a home game or an away game. This is just the week prior to week one. I guess
just an off week.
Yeah, everybody's just kind of sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. You know, I saw today that the Cowboys are off all week to Friday. They have taken off since their last game all the way up into Friday. Now, I don't know what our practice schedule is this week, so I don't want to talk too much smack. I'm sure we gave a couple days off to start the season, but I don't think we have off all the way till Friday.
No, I don't think we do either, but the Cowboys, they probably need it given their previous seasons of late.
Yeah. Then more rest time.
Yeah.
You know? And then we'll let Dak Prescott, here we go, whatever. Anyway, all right, so this week's podcast, we've got a couple things in store. We just want to recap last week's game, and we'd like to talk a little bit about what's happened since the Ravens game. Obviously, we've got the 53-man roster. We signed a couple people. Yeah. I think everybody's pretty much privy to the Terry news, which we're pumped about.
You'd have to be living under a rock not to be aware of that situation at this point.
Right, and then so we'll touch on that slightly. And then after that, we've got another guest on the pod. This week in our home studio, we got Pops here. My dad going to join us on the podcast. And what we're going to do, and which is going to be the bulk of the pod, we're going to go week by week. We have got to get a record prediction out there on the record, a record on the record, for us to be able to backtrack and go through how did we do versus how we thought we were going to do. So This is our podcast to say how we thought we were going to do, though that way come January, February, on our way to the Super Bowl, we can say we were right.
Yeah.
Do you concur?
I mean, do you think it's too early to say we're just going to win them all?
I mean, it's your prediction, Michael. You can predict whatever you'd like. I will say in years past, because and we're late on this, everybody's already played this whole game of, week one, are we going to win or are we going to lose? Week two, are we going to win or are we going to lose?
They did that on the schedule release.
Right. Most people play this game when the schedule gets released, but we didn't have a podcast then.
No.
So we got to do it now, and this seems like the perfect week to do that because we need to get things on record. We should have wrote the stuff
down when we were having this exact conversation when the schedule got released that night, but we weren't thinking that far ahead.
No, too far ahead. Not to mention, we didn't even have our team yet.
Yeah.
Nobody had their team yet. So this is, in my opinion, this is a perfect time to do it. And not just that, but we're coming up on what is fantasy football weekend for most drafts. This is the weekend where if you're a smart league, this is when you're doing your draft because it's after the preseason is over. It's before the regular season starts. I know there's a lot of other people based upon schedules and because you got 10, 12, 14 guys in the league. You got to coordinate schedules if you do a live draft or even if you do an online draft. But, man, if you can't make the online draft, then you shouldn't do fantasy football, in my opinion. How are you going to auto draft an online draft? You can do it from work, and I don't care what you do. But if you're picking up trash, you could still do an online draft. I've done mock drafts while I'm sitting in traffic. Just saying. But this is the weekend to do the fantasy draft. So this is the weekend where we got to get all that stuff out. But let's touch first on last week's game, the Beltway battle against the Ravens. Before we get to the football, we got to talk about the tailgate. We got to talk about the food.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the tailgate first. Who gets to this? What time do we get to the stadium? Somewhere right before 8:00.
Yeah, it was between 8 and 8:30. No, the lots opened at 7, but we still got there about 8:30. We were trailing a little behind. I think it was about 8:30.
No. You're wrong. Wrong. You're wrong. You're fired, Mike.
Well.
We left at 6:36. I want to say, I don't know, maybe it was slightly past 8. It doesn't matter, but we had a breakfast tailgate.
Yeah. Which is the first time I've ever experienced a breakfast tailgate.
Oh, yeah. Little football, little breakfast. So the waffles, how were they?
They were good.
I mean, I cooked everything, so I'm biased, right? You know, the cook's not going to sit here and tell everybody how great their food was. So, I mean, I cooked, you ate, so you got to tell me. So waffles were good. Did you have blueberry or regular?
I had regular. Didn't know there were blueberry.
Oh, well, you missed out.
But I was partial to the steak and eggs, which was where it was at for me.
The steak was well cooked, and by well cooked, I mean medium.
Yeah, I mean, that's the right way to do it.
Well, I guess.
In my opinion.
But let's not start an online war on how people like their steaks, because most people, I think, are going to say.
Well, they can find us on the social media and they can comment, okay, on how they like their steak and eggs.
Scrambled eggs, it got a little bit messy there in the lot. I spilled a lot of eggs.
Yeah, I saw something happening over there, but I wasn't going to comment.
Well, you know, with those skillets, like those pancake skillets that you can cook anything in, they got that little hole there at for the grease trap.
Right.
Yeah, well, somehow that grease trap, that whole thing didn't make it to the tailgate lot, and so when you just pour egg to do scrambled eggs on that, it's not like a Blackstone. It was just a little pancake skillet I brought from the kitchen.
Right.
And so I tried to shove a paper towel in that little hole to try to stop the eggs from going down that hole, but that didn't really work. It just overflowed everywhere. But
all I saw was the grease coming. That was.
You have to cook the bacon first, then you do the eggs. What else did we have? So we had bacon, we had eggs, we had steak,
waffles,
we had waffles,
fruit.
We had a nice little fruit salad.
Bacon, of course. I want to say that was it. If there was anything else, I certainly missed it. But
we had mimosas.
Oh yeah, how could we get that?
Yeah. I mean, speaking of which, what do you? I mean, we're at home. We're not dry. We're not commanding the commute right now. What are you sipping on?
Jack and ginger. You know,
that's so weird. That's exactly what I'm drinking too. It must be our go-to. My Jaden Daniels on the rocks. All right, so food was good in the tailgate lot. Now we need a recap on how was your experience with the food inside the stadium? Because last week I told everybody how annoyed I was with the Lions and missing out on 30 minutes of preseason football. So what was your experience, right? You got the band.
Well, first, remind me, when you went through the grab and go line, did you do it before the game itself started, or was it during the game? Because Jared and I only did it at the beginning. After we entered the stadium, went up the elevator, we immediately went to the grab and go line. So I'm curious where you were at when you were in the line, then I'll tell you how my experience was.
I checked out the line pregame and saw how crazy the line was, and I was hoping that I'd find a dull part of the game to go and obviously and stand it. But I'll be honest, I think I took 2 pee breaks during the game before I decided I wanted to, in each pee break I went and took a glance at it. It was the third time where I was like, okay, I'm hungry, it's coming up on halftime, I want to get something before half, and that's when I went and stood in that line.
Okay, well, I was only in the line.
Which felt like to me in the moment like the entire second quarter.
Well, I know when you got up to go to the food line, it felt like you were gone forever, to be quite honest. It felt like you were missing really the chunk of the game.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me.
But as I kind of alluded to you last week, our experience, Jared and I, it was different. We only went at right before the game started. We got off the elevator Jared had never been to the stadium, so he wanted to see club level. And I was kind of telling him like the setup and the grab and go is over here to your right, or you go to your left, kind of a quarter way across the stadium. So we went to the right, which is like the 336 section, whatever, it doesn't matter. So we walked over there, and it was not very busy. It was just a steady line. We got in the line, and I'd say altogether between getting in the line, getting through the line, getting, our water, all that stuff, we were in and out within 5 to 10 minutes. And that was walking in, getting the food, and
did it feel like a long line when you started in it, or was it a short line the whole way through?
It was not a long line. It was a short line the whole way around. So the whole process for us went smooth and relatively quickly. It didn't feel like we were waiting.
Well, I only asked because I didn't know if maybe it was a long line, but you just went through it fast, or it was just a short line.
No, we weren't really waiting per se.
Okay.
So our experience was, I guess, what it should have been for you, just a smooth kind of wait and walk and just a consistent movement there.
And I'm going to say, because your situation was pre-game, and my situation felt like, I was in the middle of the game. So
yeah, it was the middle of the game.
So let's just say that maybe I'm slightly exaggerating on the time. And let's just say that you're slightly underestimating, because you don't have a time frame of leaving from your seat and getting back to your seat.
No.
But, so it's probably a combo of the two. I'm probably over-exaggerating how long I waited, and you're probably underselling slightly. But regardless, week 1, I want to take advantage of that free food, and those lines better be good. They better be good. And, we haven't really even touched on it. We got to tailgate. I need to cook something during week 1 tailgate. We haven't even gotten that far in our planning.
No, I'm not even... I'm thinking about week 1, but it's still a week away, so I'm not, honed in quite yet.
I don't know what it is, but I, for some reason, do like to try to think of the opposing team we're about to play and somehow plan the food around that. I don't know why I like eating steak sandwiches against Philly. It just seems fitting. It's like, it's your food, I'm going to eat it, and we're going to kick your ass.
Well, we're playing the Giants week 1.
What is New York known for? I don't want to have hot dogs. We already went down that road.
Yeah.
But they are they are kind of known for hot dogs, though, right?
Yeah, New York is
slice
more,
pizza.
Pizza.
Well, I'm not gonna make pizza.
I would say pizza or hot dogs.
If you were incarcerated.
Jeez, Dad's on deck over here, just playing with his phone. I'm sure you guys could pick that up.
Oh, that definitely got picked up.
Yeah. All right. We need a green room like Coach to kind of keep our guests in here. I guess we could have put his ass in the living room, but all right. So that recaps food. We'll figure out what we're doing the Giants game next week as far as the tailgate goes. But we got to think of something. Is New York not known for anything other than hot dogs and pizza? Italian food?
Always Italian food,
Yeah, but I'm not gonna make spaghetti.
No, that's not a tailgate. You can't make spaghetti or lasagna or rigatoni or something.
But I'll tell you what, if we could figure out a way to make lasagna in the tailgate lot, how epic would that be? I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal.
Well,
let me check the schedule first before I make this deal.
Well, if Giants, Coach had an oven.
Giants. All right, the next time we play Giants in a night game, when the lots open up early, it's not this year, I just checked the schedule. Next year, if we got the Giants on a Sunday nighter, we're going to get to the lot as soon as we can, and I'm going to figure out how to make lasagna in the tailgate
in the
lot.
span of 3 hours. Okay.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But I would like...
You'd have to pre-make it and then microwave it.
Microwave? You can't
to
microwave.
reheat it. if it's cold.
I mean, we do have the luxury of being able to use a microwave in coach.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, done with food. The weather was perfect. I got a little burnt at last week's game. We're sitting out in the sun.
Yeah, you were in the 400 level.
What did you think about the 12 o'clock noon game time?
I loved it.
I'm an early riser. You're an early riser.
We kind of talked about this on the way back. If the Sunday games during the regular season were 12 o'clock start time instead of 1, I don't know, that extra hour just sort of made an entire difference. It made, to me, it felt like I still have the entire Saturday night to do whatever. Now, granted, I didn't do anything. I went home and basically passed out, but I had been up since about 5:30, 5 o'clock.
Well, if I remember last year, basically my routine getting back from a home game is pretty much in the drive home, just between getting out of the lot and getting everything packed up and cleaned up, and by the time you get in the car, make the drive back all the way here to Waynesboro, PA, I pretty much just miss all of the 4 o'clock games. I'll catch the fourth quarter of the 4:25 games.
Right.
And depending on how I'm feeling,
You'll basically be home in time for the primetime game.
Yeah, primetime game. So I'm pretty much just missing out on the 4 o'clock. But yeah, I guess, if you live in Nashville or Chicago, are they Central Time?
I think so.
So are they by default, I guess all year they're getting 12 o'clock games.
I guess so.
And then I guess by the time you get to Colorado, Mountain Time, they're watching an 11 o'clock game.
Right.
But at that when they have home games at 1 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock to us, but it's 11 o'clock to them.
Right, because everything is, when you're on the network, everything is Eastern time. So it's 1 o'clock us, but it could be, 11 o'clock there or 10, wherever.
Okay, well, what time would the 1 o'clock game start in Hawaii?
Isn't it like a 6-hour time difference? Something like that?
I have no idea, but that would be too early for me.
Well, yeah.
I don't like the 9 a.m. overseas Europe game that comes on. I mean, it depends on the Sunday morning I plan to have. But, I like to cook a little bit. I like to have a beer.
Well, 9 times out of 10, I forget about the 9 o'clock games. It's like I get up and I do whatever, and then it's like, oh, yeah, there was a 9 o'clock game, so I'll catch it at the tail end, the third quarter or the fourth quarter.
Let me tell you who else hates the 9 o'clock game. Fantasy owners across the world hate the 9 o'clock game because you always forget it's 9 o'clock. You're setting your roster. You're trying to figure out who's hurt, who's not, who's going to play. The 9 o'clock game screws up everything. And typically those games aren't that great.
I mean, if history's anything, they never really are.
I mean, have you ever said, man, that Berlin game last week was awesome?
Can't wait to see Jacksonville against whoever.
Yeah, it's so true. Why do they get all those games?
Isn't it because of their owner is maybe from England or something? I don't remember, but
we'll go with that. All right, so weather was perfect. Game time, I really liked game time. And then last thing, just to finish up the Beltway, we should probably, anything football related you want to talk on? I mean, none of our starters.
It was
none of their starters.
it was preseason. None of the starters for either team started, and we lost 30-3. So, like I've been saying all preseason, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is week 1.
Joe Gibbs used to lose all their preseason games and win Super Bowls, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think we are too.
I think we're okay. I don't really care about the preseason. And I know that there's some football heads out there that are no, everything matters. But and this will lead into the next part of our conversation, but look, if you don't make our 53-man roster, I don't care about you either. These people getting cut from the 53 and all these bubble players and all that, I'm like, I don't care. Are you on the 2025 team or not? Because I'll learn your name once you're on the team.
Right.
But anyway, I think this is a good place to stop here for a second. We'll bring in our guest and we'll continue on with the rest of the podcast.
Now we're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called Who is My Daddy and What Does He Do? Yes?
Is your daddy a fireman? He's probably big. Is he a wrestler? Is he a basketball coach?
No.
What's the matter?
I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
All right, so we've got Pops on the pod. Just start off by saying the only reason why I'm a Washington fan is because of Dad. I recently saw a picture of him holding me. I believe I was still in the hospital wearing a Redskins like little baby onesie. So for life since birth, I've been a Washington fan. Proud to say it, and it's all because of Dad. So Dad, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So curious, obviously when I talk about the glory days, it's really your era of Washington Redskins that you're referring to, because my glory days is 2005, Joe Gibbs 2.0 with Mark Brunell and Clinton Portis and Santana Moss, Mike Sellers, Chris Cooley. That was my glory days, which was fun.
Yeah.
But nowhere near to Joe Gibbs 1.0 that you got to experience. But kind of give me a little frame of reference, like what are some of your early memories as a Washington fan? How did you become a Washington fan?
Well, my dad was a Washington Redskin fan only because he was a transplant to Washington, D.C. That's where he worked. So he came from Western Pennsylvania, where it was a big Penn State area and not a lot of pro football, similar to Texas or Florida or Alabama, where you're really talking about college football being the dominant football, you know. And so he got to Washington, D.C., started working, and he became a Washington Redskin fan. So therefore, I became a Washington Redskin fan. Ever since I was I'm talking about 5 or 6 years old, I can remember watching Washington Redskin games. And one of the clearest memories for me, I think I was 9 years old. This is like 51 years ago. And this is when a time in which Washington Redskins and Dallas Cowboys would play almost regularly back then on Thanksgiving Day. So Thanksgiving Day, 1974, I was over at my uncle's house. Our whole family was. I was 9 years old at the time. And I mean, this old school Redskin fans know this like clearly. Thanksgiving Day, we're all watching the Washington Redskins play the Dallas Cowboys. And the Washington Redskins at halftime, right before halftime, they're up maybe a touchdown or two on the Dallas Cowboys. Well, we had a defensive end at the time named Dyron Talbert. Right before halftime, Dyron Talbert sacks Roger Staubach of the Dallas Cowboys and injures him to the point where he can no longer play the game. Now, this is an all-pro Hall of Famer, Roger Staubach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In comes a guy in the second half for the Dallas Cowboys by the name of Clint Longley. All right? I don't know if he'd ever played a snap of NFL football until this day, right? Of course, as a Redskin fan, we are pumped. Like, we got this game in the bag. Wouldn't you know, this no-name quarterback by the name of Clint Longley comes in, throws for 3 touchdowns in the second half. They end up winning the game. Cowboys end up winning the game like 28-20. I don't know if that's the correct score. Something like 28-27. I cried.
Right.
I cried. But that's how long I've been a Redskin fan. And then, of course, the glory days for me was early 80s all the way up through early 90s.
Right.
And I lived through all that. And I was a huge fan, and so was everybody in the area.
That was pretty much your 20s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
what a time! What a time to watch all those games and all those Super Bowls and all those awesome runs, like through your 20s especially too, right? Because like that's when I feel like it really does mean the most to you. You know what I mean?
1983, I graduated from high school. The Washington Redskins won the Super Bowl, and the Baltimore Orioles won the World Series. Oh my God!
Oh wow!
What did the Terps do that year?
I don't know. I'm a Terp alumni. I should know,
Yeah.
but I don't. I don't know. But I mean, you talk about a.
Well, wait. Let's backtrack for a second in your memory. When was Bias?
Len Bias?
Yeah.
Early 80s. I want to say 81, 80, 81.
Okay.
Okay.
And Maryland was.
No. Len Bias. 84, 85. Okay. And
I'm not too far off
I think
then.
he passed in 85. I want to say 80, 85, 86.
Well, then 83, the Terps had to have been good.
Well, the basketball team.
Right. Well, I mean.
Yeah. I don't know about the football team.
Well, let's be honest. Maryland football's never really been the national powerhouse like some of the other colleges. But in basketball, Maryland's always held their own.
Oh, yeah.
So there's football schools, there's basketball schools, and Maryland's always been more of a basketball school than a football school.
Exactly.
But man, yeah, 1983, what a year. What if you can go back? What's your favorite player of all time?
It's got to be John Riggins. John Riggins is the epitome of Washington Redskin football in the 1980s, and every Washington Redskin fan knows that.
Yeah, I also think that for your generation, Riggins is also an easy answer. Can you give me a maybe an underrated someone that was that you outside of the player that everybody around the league knew? Was there a guy on the team that you always kind of rooted for? Maybe he wasn't the flashiest, maybe he didn't produce enough, maybe he just had a good person, maybe it was an O-lineman. I don't know.
There was some linebackers back in that time frame. Rich Malott, Neil Olkowitz. He was a middle linebacker. Rich Malott was an outside linebacker. You don't hear a lot about those guys today, but I'm telling you what, the Redskins' defenses back then, Amani Coleman was a part of those teams as well. Those linebackers, I mean, top notch. None of them are Hall of Famers, but I'm telling you what, they won Super Bowls. And now there was Hall of Famers surrounding them on the defensive line. Darrell Green was in the secondary along with some really good safeties at the time. But I mean, if you're talking about like unsung heroes, that linebacker core, they would probably be the unsung heroes of that era.
Mike's a big Darrell Green guy.
Well, Darrell Green, even after he retired, could still run as fast as the players that were playing after he retired.
I think Darrell Green is the one player that kind of, because he played for so long. He was in your generation and my generation.
He played for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So by the time that I was getting old enough to really recall players' names and really pay attention to the games and stuff like that, I remember Dad saying, Darrell Green's been around forever.
Well, I'm pretty sure his rookie season was 83. Could be wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. And the thing about it is, you got to give credit to the coach at the time. Joe Gibbs was an innovator of offenses back then. He, along with Bill Walsh of the San Francisco 49ers, who basically Bill Walsh was the, for lack of better terms, inventor of the West Coast offense. And that brought offensive NFL football into the limelight back in the early 80s. And Joe Gibbs was right there with him. And when you talk about John Riggins, and I mentioned this to you earlier, those teams back then, John Riggins was the only tailback in the backfield. A lot of the other teams were still running an I or a split formation with a fullback. And Joe Gibbs basically introduced the single halfback in the backfield. And what was so phenomenal about that time was we had the Hogs in the early 80s and through the mid 80s and John Riggins. And it didn't really matter what the defense was going to do at that time. They could not. There was 3 running plays, for goodness sake. one halfback in John Riggins. And at that time, it didn't matter if you knew who was going to get the ball. You couldn't stop them anyway. And that was what was so perfect about those teams.
When you're describing that, it kind of reminds me of in today's football, what the Eagles are doing with the tush push. Everybody knows what's going to happen. We see the formation. We know the yardage. We see where they're lined up. And what do? They snap the ball. They do the 2025 quarterback sneak is now the tush push, right? And there's nothing we can do about it except for try to throw Frankie Lufu over the line of scrimmage and try to change the
until
whole
we get penalized for it.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And that's the way it was back in the early 80s with the Washington Redskins. They had counter tray was one of the running plays. There was a gut play, and they quick pitched it to the left or right. And it all went to Riggins. Everybody knew it was going to Riggins. They just couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. A different era of football for sure. Different era of football. Why do you think that Joe Gibbs doesn't get the credit that some of the other coaches get? Because you hear all these, when the great coaches get talked about, you hear all these names, but for some reason Joe Gibbs doesn't seem like he gets quite the credit as some of these other coaches has, and he's got such a unique resume in how many times he went with a different quarterback and all that stuff. It's like, what is it that really stops people from putting him? Because I feel like if you're going through and you're ranking like best coaches of all time, then for a lot of like pundits, they would put Gibbs in like this tier 2. Right, you'd have Belichick and some of these other guys up top, and then some reason.
But when you're
Gibbs might be number 1 of that tier 2. But why isn't he tier 1?
But when you're tiering coaches off like that, it's all based off of the number of Super Bowls that you've won. It's based off of the rings.
Yeah, well, he's up there.
I know this.
And the appearances you can't say the appearances aren't worth anything, right? Because he went without winning, right?
But no one remembers how many times you appeared. They only remember when you won.
This goes kind of to the debate of, let's talk about the New England Patriots in the Tom Brady era, right? Mm-hmm. This almost goes to that debate, right? Who really won the Super Bowl? Was it the coach or was it the quarterback, right?
Right.
So was Belichick really that great, or was it because he had Tom Brady and Tom Brady was that great? Let's face it, and you just mentioned the stat, right? Chuck Noll won with one quarterback, right? Bill Belichick won with one quarterback. Granted, the 49ers won with Montana and Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah.
Joe Gibbs won with 3 different quarterbacks. Right. 3 different quarterbacks. And he didn't have John Riggins for the last one. So, I mean, I think those credentials alone should stand out when evaluating a coach and what he brought to the team. And I think Joe Gibbs kind of stands a little bit above those other coaches. Granted, he won 3 and the other ones won 4 or more, right?
Right.
But those other coaches won with the same quarterback, with the exception of Walsh, right? He had 2. But Gibbs won with 3 different quarterbacks. It was the system that he put in place.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the system that won.
Well, I mean, only true fans like us know, really, and we're the only ones that are going to give the credit where credit is due. But we remember, don't we, Dad?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So I'm curious. So we kind of went down a little bit of the history, but obviously your fandom doesn't stop at the last time they win a Super Bowl. So since our last Super Bowl and even up till today, I mean, are there some players of more of the modern era? I mean, you could still call out a Redskin or obviously a football team or a Commander, but is there a player of the modern era that we'll call my era of players that kind of stood out to you that was a fun watch?
I mean, I know you're going to talk about him later, but Terry McLaurin so reminds me of Art Monk, the All-Pro wide receiver, Hall of Famer for the Washington Redskins, right?
Who's going into the Ring of Honor this this season.
Art Monk is?
Yeah.
Awesome, and he deserves to be there. And it took him a while to get into the Hall of Fame. Why, I don't know. Because when he retired, he led every single category. Rice was still playing at the time. He hadn't set the records yet.
Right.
But all those receiving accolades, Art Monk led the NFL in when he retired. Receiving yards, amount of receptions per season, and so forth. So, but Terry McLaurin, he's on his way there. And so he's one. And then, of course, I'm real excited about Jaden Daniels and what he's going to be able to do. There's a fear in me of him running because I still think of RG3, and I don't want that to happen to him.
Right.
But at the same time, I think he shows a little bit more ability to know when to get out of bounds, ability to know when to... I don't even think RG3 could slide. I think they had to teach him to slide.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I think Jaden Daniels has that ability where he didn't. But I'm still, every time he runs the ball, I'm still like afraid.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I can't speak for Bob, but yeah, every time I see a quarterback run, it's like, oh, what's going to happen?
The thing about Jaden when he runs, though, is... and it's not just when he runs. It's just the way that he acts all the time on a football field. And we were saying it last year. I remember some of our conversations, Dad. But he just seems... I mean, everybody keeps talking how poised, how cool and calm. And it's he plays football so nonchalantly. Even though he's moving, he's running, he's quick. But, like, when he runs, it's like he only runs as fast as he absolutely needs.
It's almost like he's not running with any real set of urgency almost.
I like to call him a glider. Yeah. What I mean by that is he seems to run with a glide, like he's gliding through the defense. And it doesn't appear that he's running that fast when in actuality he is.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's his stride or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also think there's like a little bit of like an okey dokeness that's in it too, because like the defender isn't sure if he's like because he's running at like 3/4 speed when he's trying to like get out of the bounds or go
right.
or do that, or even in that preseason game when he ran that that one score into the middle there, like he took the hit but kind of walked it in.
Right. Yeah,
and that's kind of how he is. That's how he navigates around the field. So when I see him run, of course, I'm like you, where the whole RG3 thing just terrifies me, too, because we've seen it. We've gotten our hopes up before.
Lived it. Yeah.
Thought we had the guy, right? Only to, in hindsight, he was very much not the guy.
Right.
And now we've got a guy that everybody is saying is the guy, and how he could be the next Mahomes-like player and all this other stuff. And he just seems so humble and well-spoken and hardworking.
Right.
And
but again, there's an argument for RG3 that because we broke him, we didn't really get to see his full potential. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, and I'm not going to disagree that. I mean, did he bring some of it on himself? Yes. Did Dan Snyder bring some of this on Shanahan? Yes. Did Shanahan ultimately make the move to put him in the game and, like you said, break him? Yeah. Yep, that's what happened.
I don't think we can overlook the fact that today's rules in protecting the quarterback make it somewhat easier for the quarterbacks to run.
Yeah.
Like Jaden Daniels is running now, and Jalen Hurts and all these other running quarterbacks, because the defense is aware of the rules today versus when they were back then.
Right.
Which makes you wonder too, how did the players back in the day literally survive? Not just go to work every day and practice, not just come out week after week. I mean, in that era of times, you're coming from a time where Ronnie Lott was cutting his finger off to get back into the game. And then you compare it to some of these guys now that's like, what's wrong with them now? Like, did people sit out 5-6 weeks with a hamstring injury back then, or no?
Well, let's face it, concussion protocol
didn't exist.
I mean, there was no such thing as concussion protocol. Yeah. These guys played with concussions not knowing it. They just had they saw stars and had the breath knocked out of them and went back on the playing field. Today they wouldn't be allowed to do that.
And the technology with the helmets anymore, you wear these helmets anymore, that it feels like you can fall asleep in it. There's a pillow in there. But the old helmets, I feel like it was like styrofoam, and like I don't know what the dang helmets were made of, but it was just a leather helmet seems like it would have been better than the helmet.
And I know we don't really want to talk about the Cowboys, but on the America's Team Netflix thing that talks about the Jerry Jones ownership, no, Troy Aikman, he talks about concussion protocol like. What was it? It didn't exist. Like he got a concussion and there was no talk about should he set out the next week. It was just you're gonna play. There was no protection of the quarterback back in that day, in that era of football. It didn't exist. No. You just played.
Exactly.
Yeah. But back to Terry, and actually, why don't we take a quick break here? I just clipped out what the Commanders shared on their YouTube channel about Terry. Obviously, we're super excited about Terry McLaurin. Listen to this real quick, and we'll come right back.
My Washington Redskins select Terry McLaurin, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Oh, man, nice to meet you.
We just play country people from Indiana. There's nothing real special about us but hard work and effort.
If I can make somebody's day, if I can make somebody's, hour, I'm gonna try to do that. And they get to see me with my helmet. And that's the ultimately thing I want to do is show people who I am on and off the field. So I'm gonna go do that every time I can, and hopefully I can touch everybody I can, and we're gonna go for them, try to get this done. The only thing you really got is your name and your reputation. What they gonna say about your name? What they gonna say about your reputation? What they gonna say when they turn that film on? I know what they gonna say about me.
Is the best contested catch receiver in the National Football League.
Oh yeah!
For McLaurin in the end zone. Touchdown!
Just a tremendous wide receiver.
Amazing catch by one of the second wide receivers in the sport.
Okay, so super excited about Terry making it back to the team after all his stuff. I mean, all right, so in the first podcast, Mike, I told you that we were within the next week, and this was the week 1 of the preseason. I said we are a week away from hearing a 9:30 p.m. news story about how Terry McLaurin signs a 3-year, $91 million deal. That was my prediction.
Yep.
Okay, well, I was 3 weeks off and $5 million off, but I wasn't that far off. And I guess if I'm being really critical of myself, I believe the news came through on Monday, somewhere like 11 a.m. 12.
Yeah, it was like a Monday morning kind of thing.
Okay, so 3 weeks, 8 hours, and $5 million off. But outside of that, I was pretty dang close. So the contract, 3-year, $87 million, base salary of $29 million, $44 million fully guaranteed. It goes up to $50 million April of 27. He's got a $30 million signing bonus. I assume that's in the bank. Half of it's spent. He had a wedding this off season, so he probably had to pay some bills.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a big thing in the negotiations. Was I need to pay off this way. His reachable incentives are based on yards, catches, touchdowns, Pro Bowls, and playoffs. If he gets all of those incentives, it takes him up to the $96 million over the 3 years to net him somewhere around $32 million a year over a 3-year deal.
Okay, I mean, still a good deal, whichever way you cut it.
They say with a how you know a good deal is if both parties are a little ticked off at the end. If both parties had to give a little bit, and I think both parties in this situation wish they could have. Terry probably wish he could have got a little bit more. The team probably feels
maybe
like
a 4th year
could have got him a little bit less. maybe Terry wishes that it happened a little bit quicker. You know, maybe the team wishes it got a little bit quicker.
Well, it probably should have.
You know, I think there was some things throughout the negotiations that both sides wish would have happened a little bit different. I think the fan base is kind of looking at the whole Peters thing. It's like, is this going to happen with every star player that we have? Like, this better not be a situation when Jaden's contract comes up here in a couple years. We don't want any holdout stuff. Like, you know, so
just get it done.
Just get it done. But at the end of the day, it did just get done. It's done before week 1. He's not going to miss it. This isn't a storyline that's going to linger into the regular season. And it seems like this might be the whole Terry holdout negotiate. It seems like in 5-6 weeks time, everybody will have forgotten about it. I mean, he'll be on his 8th or 9th touchdown by week 6. So, it'll all be forgotten.
Yeah.
It'll all be forgotten. Any thoughts on Terry, Dad? I know that you're a fan.
I'll tell you this. We want him to reach the incentives. And you know why we want him to reach the incentives? Because that means that Deebo Samuels and the other wide receivers are getting their catches too, which leaves Terry McLaurin not double-teamed as much as he has been in the past. And that's the key for him to reach those incentives. Deebo, the other wide receivers.
That was the whole point of signing Deebo and stuff like that, was to take the pressure off of it.
Exactly, Mike.
Deebo was a huge appeal to us in our offense as our number 2. He wasn't the appeal as the number 1 guy.
Terry was always the number 1.
Deebo is the number 2. He's versatile. Obviously, we saw him take a handoff. You know he's going to get some rushing yards this year. He seems so physical. Everybody was calling him fat when in training camp first started. But look, the guy's big. Just because he's big doesn't mean he's fat.
Right.
You go beat his ass in a race. You can't do it. You can't do it. Speaking of our other wide receivers and the 53-man roster that just got released this week, your boy Luke did make the team. A lot of people
never any doubt.
Well, there's a lot of people that were doubting. We released Gallup. There was another wide receiver that a lot of guys that were really high on that I don't know if he got released or if he's got signed to the practice squad. Our rookie Jalen Lane, he's a guy to look out for. I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen gets more touches than Luke. It just depends on if Luke can figure it out in year 2.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be too much more patience given to Luke after this season. You know, if you can't establish yourself as a number 3 slot guy, if you can't appear to be...
Well, they've got to give him... If they give him the ball like they did last week against Baltimore, he might have a fighting chance. But you got to give him the opportunity for the touches.
Yeah, but if we've seen anything, Jaden's not going to force it to you. You're either open or you're not. So Luke's either going to get his touches or he's not going to get his touches. Anyway, let's wrap up. 53-man roster. Anything of note for you from who made the team, who didn't, who got signed to practice squad, who didn't, anything like that worth mentioning?
Not really. I mean, I wasn't surprised that they cut Sam Hartman as the quarterback. I wasn't surprised they cut him because he had a horrible preseason.
Well,
so that didn't come as a shock to me.
He's on our practice squad. We are carrying 3 quarterbacks as of right now. We've got Jaden, we've got Mariota, and we've got Josh Johnson, the journeyman that's been around on, I think, 12 different teams or something like that. Here's my prediction there. I think Sam is our number 3. I just think that Josh Johnson has some value. And if we released him, he's getting picked up by another team immediately because he's got a lot of offensive coordinators around the league, a lot of head coaches, a lot of quarterback coaches that obviously love him.
Well, when you played for almost every team in the league, you know.
Yeah, you've got that. And to his credit, right? When you're a player that's capable of being re-signed that many times, then good on you. You're obviously a good teammate. But I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Johnson's not on our team by week 5, is what I'm saying. I think that he's got some value. I think as another team finds a quarterback need and needs some depth, I wouldn't be surprised if we try to get a pick, even if it's a 7th or 6th. It doesn't matter. Even if it's just money, This is not an organization that's just going to let players walk for nothing. I.e.,
well, I don't know. We just let B-Rob go for a 6th round.
Well, but here's the thing. It's a 6th round.
Which is like giving away. 6th round is
No, giving away would be releasing him and getting nothing, which is what our old organization would have done. We would have released him. He would have been a roster casualty. That's what we would have done. And then he would have gone to another team and somebody would have got him off of waivers for nothing. And then we still would have had to pay his contract. We still would have had to pay him, which is what we're doing with the Niners.
6th round we could have got a little bit better. I think we were just, for whatever reason, in a rush to get rid of him.
I think if we could have got more, we would have got more. But to your point, every organization knew we were trying to get rid of him. So if every organization knows that he's about to be on the waivers, then you can't get top dollar for somebody like that because they know he's about to be free unless you take a 6th. And that's what we got. So I don't know how I feel about it. It's definitely the worst move I think that Peters has made. I don't know. I'm over it.
We can leave it there.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. I'm excited for this guy Bill, and I'm glad that he goes by Bill because I'm just going to call him Bill, and I'm pretty much going to forget the fact that his name is, what's his name? Krosky Merritt. What's his first? Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt.
There you go. There's a hyphen in there.
Bill is so much easier to say than Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. So let's just go with Bill. All right. That being said, let's get into what everybody's actually here for and what I'm super excited to kind of go through. We're just going to go game by game. Put together a win or a loss. If there's any other predictions that we want to spout out, we're going to give them. If there's any little side notes as we profile each team, we're going to give them. But we're going to have 3 projected 2025 records at the end of this conversation. And let's start with week 1, September 7th at 1 o'clock. It's a home game against the New York Giants. I will start things off. That's a win, boys.
Without a doubt.
Dad,
home opener.
Home opener win.
Yeah.
Home opener win. We've all got that on the books. We're going W over the Giants. All 3 of us. Any side notes there? Any comments on the Giants before we move on to week 2?
I got Jaden Daniels with a double-double. 100 yards rushing, over 200 yards passing.
Double-double.
It's a football version of the basketball double-double.
I like that. I wish that somehow we could also incorporate double-doubles with other positions too. Do we think Russell's going to do any good? Is Russell done after this season?
He's not done, but
we can all agree.
Is he going to do anything for New York? Probably not.
We can all agree that this is Russell Wilson's make or break year. This is either gonna extend the rest of his career, or he's not gonna be on a team next year. Any disagreements on that statement?
No, he's just gonna be the husband of what's her name.
I agree. Husband of what's her name that does weird commercials. All right, week 2. It's on 9/11, Thursday Night Football, away game against the Green Bay Packers. Away, it's a short week to start off the season. We should be relatively healthy. We're not banged up yet, so the short week shouldn't matter that much. Thursday night game, a lot of people are really, really high on Jordan Love. If you're going through and hearing all these guys talk about best quarterback in the NFC, there's a handful of people that are putting Jordan Love above Jaden Daniels.
I mean, it is a short week, but Green Bay because it's Green Bay, it's a game you have to win. So if you're going to win week 1, you've got to back it up and go 2-0.
I've got a win-loss record in mind when it comes to halfway through the season, right? And it's not a perfect
Okay.
It's not a perfect record. And one of the losses I have is the Green Bay game.
Okay.
Because it's short, because I think Jordan Love is going to have a breakout year for them, and because it's away in Green Bay. So, I mean, it's sad to say, and I don't like to say it, but like I said, I have this win-loss record in my head, and I know we're not going to go undefeated, and I think one of the losses comes there.
Okay. I've got a handful of losses in mind as well, but I don't think it's going to be week 2. I don't think it's going to be week 2. So Dad's got us at 1-1. I've got us at 2-0. Mike's got us at 2-0 going into week 3 against the Raiders, which just another little tease here. That's the Salisbury alumni game because of Dan Quinn. At home, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we got something happening.
Well, we're excited for that game for sure. This is also where I plugged that Tom Brady is one of the co-owners of the Raiders this year, and we all know how I feel about Tom. He's gay.
Yeah, we had that discussion last week. Yeah.
Look, not that there's anything wrong with that, but Tom Brady is definitely gay. New regime there in Las Vegas. Pete Carroll, he's back. He brings Geno Smith with him. It's a home game, 1 o'clock. They're coming across the country to us this time. Any thoughts? What do we think?
I got a win against Kenny Pickett.
Did Kenny Pickett go to?
Yep. And their starting quarterback will be injured by game 3.
Kenny Pickett was on the Browns.
I think that just happened earlier this week.
Yep.
So Kenny Pickett got released by the Browns and picked up by the Raiders.
And we're going to crush Kenny Pickett and the Raiders.
Okay. Didn't Kenny Pickett play for Philadelphia last year? Wasn't he Jalen?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think it was Pittsburgh. Yeah, it was definitely Pittsburgh. It wasn't the Eagles. If it was a Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania team, it was Pittsburgh.
Okay, well, answer me this question. When we beat the Eagles last season and Jalen Hurts was hurt, he had his backup come in, and I'm not going to say that's a big reason why we won the game because we beat them. But Jalen Hurts didn't play that game.
No.
I'm pretty sure. You got your phone?
Either way,
give me a Google of Kenny Pickett.
He's now with the Raiders.
He's now with the Raiders. So you got us winning against the Raiders. Mike, Raiders win-loss.
I could, just because it's week 3, I could see us losing that game, but I don't think we will. We're going into it. I think our first loss could be against Atlanta.
Whoa, hold your horses there. All right, so I'm going to go with a win as well. I got us at 3-0. Dad's got us at 2-1. Mike's got us in 3-0. Next game, week 4, at Atlanta for a 1 o'clock game. Dan Quinn's old team. Our old quarterback, Kirk Cousins, is the most expensive backup in the league for that team. This is also going to be our big family bash that we always throw. So we're going to have a big tailgate party here for that away game. Man, I wonder what the pod's got in store for that week now that we're going to have a lot of company. We'll have to come up with something for that, Mike. But Atlanta, what do we think on Atlanta?
I'm not convinced this Penix is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I agree. Last year, I remember watching Atlanta, and do you remember sitting in the seats when we were watching the Atlanta game? We're watching that whole game.
But wasn't that like one of his very first starts, if not the
I don't care if it was or not. He sucked, Mike. He was overthrowing, underthrowing. He was horrible in that game.
On top of that, have you seen this guy's release? It's the longest release in NFL football right now. His arm motion is like 360. It takes forever for him to release the ball. If we have we're going to have the most sacks all year in that game against Michael Penix.
You heard it here first, folks.
Go back with Kenny Pickett real quick. For the 2024 season, he did play for Philly.
What did I say?
He played for Pittsburgh in the 22 and 23 seasons.
There you go.
just to square that circle.
Another proven point here, folks. You can only give out facts if you intake facts.
Okay, let's move on.
So, Atlanta. Dad's got us at a win against Penix. Michael, you were teasing. You think it's a loss there?
Yeah, if we lose our first game, it'll be against Atlanta.
Okay. So, Mike's got us at 3-1. Dad's got us at 3-1. Bobo, I've got us at 4-0 going into week 5 against the Chargers. We're going across the country for back-to-back away games. We got the Chargers, 425. I just saw that Taylor Heineke got cut from the Chargers. I thought that was a good situation for him, backing up Herbert.
Yeah.
I don't know who their backup is now. I don't know who took the job over him.
Well, you were the one that told me that they cut Heineke because I didn't even catch that. So.
Heineke, yeah.
But you've got a lot more free time on your hands than I do.
I think most Washington fans still view Heineke the same way as when he was, we rooted for him. There's kind of a Cinderella story, if you will. Hard guy not to root for, let's be honest. But because you can tell he gives it 110% on every single play. It's because his talent isn't that great, but his effort kind of puts him over the edge.
I think as a Redskins fan, we got to appreciate what he did for us at the time.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, we have to come to a realization that he simply did not have the arm strength and accuracy that you need. He had mobility, he had guts, he could move around in the pocket, and we liked his tenacity and we liked what he did for us at the time. In the long run, he just doesn't have the arm strength and accuracy.
I think he's definitely a top 64 quarterback in the league, right? But he's definitely not a top 32.
Might find him on a practice squad somewhere.
Yeah. So, Chargers, where are we at? What are we thinking? I'll start it off this time. We all got a loss here. I'm going to give my first loss of the season to the Chargers. Obviously, I hope this doesn't happen.
I think you're right. I think it's a loss, but I think
Chargers are good.
Just like with Green Bay, because the Chargers are good and Green Bay historically is good, those are the games that you have to win. So if we lose, as I said, if we lose against Atlanta, we really can't afford to lose against the Chargers. You have to win, but I think it's going to be a loss.
So Mike's got us at back-to-back losses. Dad?
Is this Harbaugh's first season there or second?
Second.
I got to win against the Chargers.
Dad's got us as a win. Okay. Following week 6, Monday Night Football.
It's a win.
Little bit of a longer rest. Last year when we played, this is the Bears game. Last year when we played the Bears, it was a night game.
And that's why it's a win, because we did it before. We can do it again.
This is the one game they've got us listed at wearing what they're calling our battle black jerseys.
Is this the black jerseys?
Yeah. And they've got to, because they wore the black jerseys when he threw the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got them back again. I
like that we have a 4-jersey rotation. I like that.
Oh, me too. And
I'd still be okay with getting rid of the white and cherry off maroon.
Yeah. Just
weird.
go with our new whites.
Yeah.
Just go with our new whites. How do you feel about a quarterback that paints their nails?
Not a fan.
He was a first round, right above Jaden, right?
Number 1,
yeah.
First round, first pick. How excited are we that the Bears picked him and not Jaden? Because we would have for sure picked. We would have Caleb Williams on our team.
And you know what? He's a local product.
Yep.
The thing I don't like about him, and I compare him to Jaden, is he just doesn't have the humility that Jaden Daniels has. I think he's a little full of himself, and for that reason, I don't know if we're going to win, but I want to beat him. I don't know if we're going to win. I'm predicting a win because it's a home game, and for sentimental reasons, I like to humble a guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And honestly, so the Bears got they've got a new head coach, the offensive coordinator
Ben
that was
Johnson
with Detroit. And I can't really recall anything else of note that the Bears... Did they pick up anybody? Did they get anything? Keenan Allen went back to the Chargers.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
And the guy paints his nails. So I'm going win as well on Monday Night Football. Mike, you going win?
Yes.
I'm going win. Dad's going win. That brings us to week 7. Against the Cowboys away. Hey, wait. Before we move on to the Cowboys, Mike, you had a little tidbit about the Bears you were excited about. Your local product guy.
Yeah, they gave Tyler, last name Badgen, if I'm pronouncing it right, they gave him a 2-year, $10 million extension, so that's
and he was ecstatic about you gotta love a backup.
The press conference, he was, I mean, if there's anyone that has been more appreciative of
Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
Guy went to Shepherd?
I think that guy came out of like a home situation, very poor. I mean, he didn't grow up.
They definitely didn't have money
in his hand.
Yeah, not at all.
Have you seen clips of his dad on the sidelines? And stuff? His dad is like a pro arm wrestler.
I think they had an outhouse. I don't know if they had a real bathroom.
No, I think he might be right there, but I mean, I've never seen someone so thankful and appreciative of any money, but just an extension like that.
Yeah.
Because he said when they interviewed him, when he had his press conference, not just about his family, but the number of people that he could help with that money. And I just think that's great. So shout out to the local guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So now we'll move on to week 7 away against the Cowboys, 4:25. Dad had already started talking about the Cowboys earlier and that rivalry and how much it means. Let's take a second here and talk about this rivalry because I've got thoughts, Dad's got thoughts, Mike's got thoughts. My thoughts are the rivalry was Cowboys Redskins. The rivalry now is Commanders versus Eagles. That's what I'm going to go with. Not to say that I'm not saying that I prefer the Cowboys, man, because I can't stand the Cowboys, but I hate the Eagles.
In the last several seasons, the Eagles have actually done something.
Hold on, folks. We might be getting some technical stuff. Did you hear that too, Mike?
I actually did not, but...
Okay, I think we're good.
But in the last couple seasons, the Eagles have actually done something the Cowboys haven't. They're kind of all talk, but they don't really back it up when the time counts.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stand the Cowboys. I can't stand the Cowboys.
You can't be a Redskin fan and stand the Cowboys. It's just not...
You know the worst game of football to watch of all time, and it happens twice a year, but the worst game ever to watch, it's Cowboys versus Eagles. If that's a Sunday night, if that's a Monday night...
I know how you feel about that.
Oh my God, it's such a hard watch. I want them both to lose. I want them both to injure each other. I want it to be a tie, but I don't want it to be a tie because a tie is not a loss and it's not a win. I wish it would be kind of a loss for both. But God, what a hard watch those games are. It's my least favorite of all time.
Anytime I talk to a Cowboys fan, I can't stand I hate the Cowboys. And yet when I talk to them, I say, listen, I'm a football fan at heart. So I can respect some individual players in past years for the Cowboys.
Sure.
As an example, I respect Roger Staubach as a player. I can't stand him as a Cowboy, but I respected him as a player.
Right.
Randy White was a guy that came out of the University of Maryland. He's an All-Pro and a Hall of Famer. I respected him as a player. I couldn't stand I still can't stand the Cowboys. I agree with you, Bob. I think the rivalry now is the Eagles, but I still hate the Cowboys, and that's a rivalry too. So,
yeah.
Do you want my prediction for the game?
Yep, let's hear it.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to run into a roadblock right there, and it'll be a good learning lesson for us for later on in the season. So I have us as a loss there. We've been on a high. Out of the first 6 games, I got us going 5-1. And now I think we're going to be 5-2. And I think it'll actually be good for us because, and I'll wait until next week, the next game, to tell you why.
See, and I actually think the opposite. I think we'll win the first game away, but I think we'll lose going all the way down. I think we'll lose the Christmas Day game at home because I just think we'll just split it because it's the Cowboys. I don't think we'll be able to. So you got
us as a win.
Yeah.
I got us as a win as well. And just a little side note here, just to wrap up the Cowboys. Yeah, that Netflix Cowboys show, I tried watching it. I mean, God,
was it almost sacrilegious for you?
It was such a hard watch for me. I really wasn't that entertained. I just every face to come up on the screen, I'm just like, don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like the way you sound. I don't like what you're saying. I don't. Why am I watching this?
I watched it as not like a Redskin fan watching it. I watched it as a football fan watching. I kind of put my Washington fandom aside to watch that.
Well, you want to know how I watched it? I watched it as a Survivor fan. The only time that I liked it was when they talked about Jimmy Johnson. I don't mind Jimmy. I think
that was the most interesting part.
I think he's just this like short little guy that's kind of, like,
yeah.
I like him on Fox. I have never really minded him. But he was on Survivor, so I'll give him his.
And he was really the first victim of the Jerry Jones ego. Like, you can't be better than me. I know more than you do, even though, Jimmy was the football guy.
Right.
And there apparently was an agreement of like, I'll do the football and you do the front office stuff. But anyway, let's go on with the schedule.
All right, we got us. I got us as a win. Mike's got us as a win. Dad's got us as a loss at the Cowboys. Week 8 at Kansas City. I can't recall the last time we played Kansas City.
Me either, but
been a while.
I think it'll be a loss.
Monday Night Football, October 27th. Mike's got us at a loss. Dad?
We were mad and upset with the way we played against the Cowboys because I got us as a loss against the Cowboys. I got us with a big comeback win against Kansas City.
And the whole Patrick Mahomes machine.
Yep, I got us. We just, like I said, I have us as a loss against the Cowboys. We come back strong, mad, and determined against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
I love it. I disagree, but I love it. I'm going to mark us as a loss.
I do too. I disagree, but I do love it.
I'm going to mark it as a loss. Before we move on to the next game, Dad, do you have any thoughts whatsoever on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
I saw this video, and it was a Seinfeld episode in which George asked his fiance for a prenup, right? And she laughs at him and goes, "Prenup? I make more money than you do. Of course I'll sign up."
Sure, give me the papers. I'll sign
them. So that's my comment on the Travis Kelce.
Yeah, the guys in the locker room probably have no idea how much Taylor Swift is worth.
Man,
like, you gotta get that prenup, Travis.
I tell you what,
like, nah, it's not necessary.
We really need Laura for this conversation. She's a big Swifter, so yeah. But
Swifter, I like Swifter way better than Swiftie.
But she's out making rice somewhere. So.
Oh my gosh. Don't be offensive.
God, I hope that gets self-edited.
All right. So I got us at a loss. Mike's got us at a loss. Dad's got us at a win against Kansas City. Week 9, we are at home on Sunday Night Football against the Seahawks. New regime there.
Doesn't matter. It's a win. Sorry, you wanted to play it up.
No. Who's the quarterback for the Seahawks now that Geno's gone?
I thought it was Geno.
No, Geno's with the Raiders now. Doesn't matter. It's a loss.
Go on the conversation. I'll ask Google.
You got us at a loss. Honestly, I can't recall anybody from the Seahawks. Who's their coach? Do you know?
Look, they're so inconsequential. I got us as a win. It just doesn't matter. I don't know. I should know as a football guy, but
I mean, I'm sitting here kind of.
The Seahawks' primary quarterback for the 2025 season is Sam Darnold.
Well, there you have
That's right.
It's a win.
That's right, Sam Darnold.
Because I don't think he'll be able to duplicate what he did for Minnesota last year.
It was kind of fluky that he did it to begin with. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was good to see, though. I liked it.
I didn't mind it. All right, so we got wins here against the Seahawks. All right, then we've got what we're gonna call was our NFC Championship game. If the NFC Championship game last year was our Super Bowl, we're going to call the Lions game last year. That was our NFC Championship because a lot of people thought that the Lions were going there. I mean, they were the preseason favorite for the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. And man, Mike, remember that game? We waxed that ass.
Well, yeah, because nobody expected us to win that game. Everybody thought that we were going to lose.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Watching all them Lions fans cry about it.
No one anywhere
rewarding.
gave us a shot.
4:25. It's at home. It's on November 9th. Who wants to spout it off first? Who thinks what?
I got to win.
Dad's got us winning again.
Home game. We've done it before. We know their scheme.
This could be a 50-50 game. It really could go either way.
If they give Gibbs the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was tearing us up.
This game could really go all the way. And only because I think Detroit is due for a down season. Just in my gut, I don't think that they can continually replicate what they've been doing. I'm going to go on a limb and say we're going to win.
Guess what? I got us winning too. And guess what? I've only got us at 2 losses thus far. Come week 10, everybody's going to be talking.
What are the rest
on my record? So I've got us after the Lions game at 8-2. Dad's got us at 8-2. Mike, you got us at 7-3. Going into Spain against Miami for an away game. This is at 9:00 game. So I don't know
speaking of away games, did you talk about the Japan game last week? I don't remember.
No, but I do want to give a quick shout out to our listeners in Japan. Thank you very much for listening. How did you find out about us? Reach out to us on Instagram. I'm curious. Do I know you? Thanks. All right. Now, Spain against Miami. It just seems like all offseason Miami's been just hit with just question mark after question mark. Like Tyreek is mouthing off. McDaniel seemed like he's got his days numbered. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if come week 5 they've got him on the hot seat if he's not already on the hot seat. Because if Miami doesn't perform, if they don't play up to snuff, then he's gone. They'll start over. And they're about due to do that anyway. I got to set a win. In Spain.
My gut says we'll win too.
Dad?
Yeah, it's a win for me.
Another win. Oh, man, how the times have changed so fast. We'd have been doing this 3 years ago. It'd have been loss. We'd somehow stumble into 9-7, which we know is not going to happen. But all right, so we're going to take this opportunity at our Week 12 bye week to give you a quick advertisement to show you what it would sound like if you or your business or your company wanted to advertise on this podcast. This is what an ad read would sound like if you or your business wanted to use our platform for your product. That's right. Imagine your product here. It could be anything. A service, a gadget, a business, an event. Hey, maybe you're just a guy with a dream. We would tell people how revolutionary it is, even if it's basically the same thing they already have. Maybe it's just in a different color. We'd probably say something like trusted by experts. even though we never mention who those experts are. We drop in a buzzword or two. Innovation, synergy, disruption to the markets. You know, all the good stuff that means absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, Mike and I just want to keep going to these games, and well, we need money to do that. So if you like us, then we absolutely love you. Your product, your business, your gadget, your gizmos, but most importantly, your money. So if you'd like to advertise on us, this podcast, feel free to reach out to us.
Side effects of sponsoring this podcast may include increased brand awareness, sudden surges in coolness, minor boosts in revenue, major boosts in Mike and Bob's tailgate budget, the internal guilt of knowing you funded two grown men yelling about football into a microphone while driving. We are available in Alaska, Hawaii, and parts of Delaware. Consult your doctor before operating heavy machinery while listening to this podcast. Results not guaranteed, but the vibes immaculate.
Okay, so going into our bye, I've got us at 9-2. Dad's got us at 9-2. Mike's got us at 8-3. We're coming home from our bye week after Spain, so a nice long rest after our Spain travels. We've got Denver at home, week 13, for a Sunday night football game. Another night game. We got some night games, Mikey.
Yeah, but does anyone disagree that coming off a bye week like that from Spain that we don't win this game? We have to win this game. I don't know, it's a win for me.
I could be wrong, but I think that I did some research on this prior. I'm pretty sure Denver also has a bye week in week 12. I could be wrong. I'm not going to fact check it. I don't care that much. But I don't know if our rest is going to be that bad. Now, here's the other thing about this Denver game. Denver, Sean Payton year 2. They got the Bo Nix. Everybody's high on Bo Nix. I didn't get a chance to watch Bo Nix last year to really have an opinion about that.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion either.
But a lot of people are really high on the Broncos. So just because we've got rest doesn't necessarily mark this up as a surefire win in my book. Dad?
All right, here's my take on this game, right?
Yep.
And I know we didn't talk about this, but if I had an apprehension about where the Washington Redskins will be this season and what area they might have a weakness, it's run defense. Now, I know we can't really look at the preseason and go, that was our starters. Yet at the same time, it was obvious that our run defense during the preseason, and no, they weren't the starters, but I'm talking about even the scheme itself. Mm-hmm. All right, we got ran all over.
We struggled against the run last year.
Yeah, and we did. Now, that head coach out there, Sean Payton, loves to run the football. It was on August 12th when I sent you a text, and I said, Bob, I was listening to John Gruden, and John Gruden says that this rookie running back out of Denver, I think I made a fantasy football prediction for you. Maybe you should take this guy late if he's available. I think the guy's
hopefully Tom's not listening. I can do that.
Hopefully the guy's name is Harvey, right? Rookie running back.
Harvey Dent?
No. Anyway, I'm afraid of this game. And because of that, and because I'm a little leery of our run defense, and I know that Peyton's gonna I know you were talking about Bo Nix. He's not my worry.
He's not your X factor.
My X factor is this running game of Sean Payton's and our run defense. So that's going to be one of my losses, the Denver Broncos.
Okay, Dad's got us at a loss for the Broncos. Mikey?
I'm still saying we win.
Mike's still got us at a win. I've got us at a loss. I think Denver's going to be better than people think. And I'm kind of with that here. I wouldn't be surprised if they give us some trouble. Not to mention, based on my record, we're kicking ass so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if the bye week works against us, which you have seen happen for teams.
Yeah.
Too much rest, they're on a roll going into the bye, and then after the bye, something happens and the opposite effect happens. So I think we're going to need to get our ass kicked in order to really get into playoff form. So that's kind of what I'm going. That's my lean here. So week 14, first game of December, we're away at the Minnesota Vikings. Anybody got strong feelings or anything of note about the Vikings?
Not really, but I would venture to say it might be a loss only because we don't know that much about their, second year / rookie quarterback because he was injured last year, McCarthy. So I think it could be a loss, but I wouldn't be surprised if we won.
So what are you going with?
I'm going with a loss because I'm up to 4.
Okay.
And I have a number in mind. So
you're just trying to get it. Okay. Dad?
I'm with Mike. I got a number in mind as well, but it's not a loss.
Okay.
It's a win.
Dad's going with a win. I'm going with a win against McCarthy as well. Okay. Week 15 at the New York Giants. Away. December 14th. It's a 1 o'clock game. Mid-December. Russell Wilson will have been benched by now. We're probably playing James.
It's a giant sweep. We win.
It's a giant sweep in Mike's opinion. Dad?
My opinion is it's the only NFC East sweep we get this year, and it's the Giants win.
I agree. Win, win, win. Then we've got our first of 2 games against the Philadelphia Eagles at home on December 20th. Philly, our new rivalry. And you look, the NFL, if the schedule makers are trying to do anything, the NFL is trying to make this a big rivalry game because this is the first of 2 in week 16. So 3 weeks to go. We got Eagles twice. This is the first of the 3. Or of the 2. Dad, do we take the home game against the Eagles?
We're going to take a loss here. It's going to grind us something awful, and it's going to be a late loss. It's going to be a heartbreaking loss, last minute of the 4th quarter, only to see redemption at the end of the season.
Mike?
Man, these last 3 games are tough because it's Eagles, Cowboys, and Eagles again. But I'm going to say that a home game, I'm going to say we win.
Mike's got to set a win. I've got to set a win. I know a lot of people have been talking about, can Jaden Daniels replicate what he did in year 1 and year 2? The question is, I believe the answer is yes, but the same question I'm posing against Saquon. Can he replicate what he did in year 1 with the Eagles? I don't think that he can. I don't think that he can. I don't think he's going to be able to sustain it all year, and I'll be completely honest. Why is it that I'm just not impressed by Jalen Hurts? I don't know why I'm not. I just think that they're a really good team. I really can't stand A.J. Brown. I really can't stand that guy. But I'm going win against the Eagles here at home. But then we've got our Christmas Day game at home against the Cowboys. Just for our frame of reference, our first Cowboys game, I had us as a win, Mike had us as a win, Dad had us at a loss. Our second Cowboys game, now this one's at home. Dad, what do you think?
Not just a win, a decisive win, an ass-whooping win. Because we remember the first game.
There you go. It all comes back. Mike?
I'm really struggling on what to do with these last 2 games. But because I have a number in mind, I'll probably have the games wrong, but I have a number in mind.
So you think the record that you predict is going to be the same, but you probably have the losses in the wrong categories.
Yeah, because I'm going ultimately with 5 total losses.
Well, don't spoil the audience here. We got 1 game.
If they've listened this far, kudos to them. Okay.
All right, so you got this as a loss?
I actually am going to reverse it and say we'll win, but I'll back it up and say we'll lose the away game in Philly.
Okay, so you're giving us back-to-back picks here. We're going to go with a win against the Cowboys and a loss in the final game against the Eagles.
Yeah, because we're in Philly, and that's always a tough crowd. And
I got a sweep in the Cowboys. I'm the most optimistic of the three of us. And then to finish away at Eagles here, I'll give us a loss there because we don't need to win this game, in my opinion. This is the easiest pick of all of them. We don't need it. We got to rest our starters. Got to make sure that Jaden is healthy. We won't need it. We'll be let's see.
Well, I mean, we might not need it, but it depends what the overall division looks like. We might, even though we might not need the game, we might need to play the starters to just secure not necessarily our spot, but how it affects the rest of the team.
With my prediction, we'll be going into Week 18 with only 3 losses and probably have the number 1 seed locked up.
Well, then all right. Then.
Look, you guys got to make your own logic and make your own picks. That's mine. All right, I'm actually giving myself a pat on the back here for giving us 4 total losses. Going into this conversation, I thought we might be.
Well, if my math
Dad,
is
what
right,
do you got us at against the Eagles?
I think the division is on the line that week. We lost the first game, according to my predictions. We lost the first game to the Eagles. Mm-hmm. We win convincingly and finished the season against the Cowboys and the Eagles with wins in both those games and go into the playoffs as the strongest competition going into the playoffs. And we end the season 12-5.
That was my overall number 2, 12-5. That's what I had in mind.
Dad, I hate to spoil this for you, or maybe I'm not, but you've got us at
12-5.
Nope, you've got us at 13 wins. I've got us at 13 wins, and Mike.
I should have us at 12-5.
3, 4, 5, and Mike's got us at 12 wins.
Let me see. I got a loss against the Packers, right?
Loss against the Packers.
I got a loss against the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
I got a loss against the Broncos.
Yep, that's 3.
I got a loss against the Eagles.
That's 4.
That's 4.
All right, there it is. So I'm off on my prediction as far as the record, but I stand pat at 13-4.
I got it. I agree. 13-4. Mike's got us at the same record as last year. 12-5. Is 13-4? Is that the number 1 seed in the NFC?
Number 1 seed.
Home field advantage. We got the tickets, Mikey.
Hey, we're going to be there regardless. Can't wait.
We're going.
Okay?
We're going. Okay, so there are our season predictions. We will reference back to these picks as the season goes along. Mike, what do you think? Is that the pod?
I think so.
Hey, thank you guys for listening to us. Next week we'll be on our way to the home game against the New York Giants for Week 1. Dad, got anything to sign us off?
Hail to the Redskins!
Hail to the Redskins! Let's go!
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Thanks for listening to the Command the Commute podcast. I now welcome you to crack a cold beer, cook up some chicken wings, and enjoy the football game. Because the Commanders, the team, the Redskins, or whatever else you call them, is gonna kick some ass. If this is a home game, Bob and Michael will be in the Red Zone lot at Northwest Stadium. We encourage you to come to our tailgate and say hello. If you are still listening to the podcast, wow, you are an extremely loyal listener. I wonder how much longer you'll stay. Hey, I've got a question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? You've got mail. Goodbye.